What's up, everybody? It is Monday, February 11th. We off to a new week. Man, week started without me. I'm tired, but I'm good. Um, another episode of Rants, Raves, Rambles. Weekend was a little difficult. Made it through. Been in some pain, toothaches, and whatnot. But today I got a rave, really. You know, regardless of what's been going on, God has been good. And I've seen so many transitions and changes in life and so many lessons that I've learned that I can't not thank him for all the things that he's doing, all the things that he's done. I keep seeing where he shows himself to be true, and he's doing all the things that he said he would do, and the prayers that have been prayed are now coming through. And God is good. God is truly good. So over the weekend, I got in touch with a family member that I hadn't talked to in a while, and they reached out and they asked me a couple questions about things that happened in my life that, very few people talk about, but very few people know about. And it kind of feels like, I don't think, the things that I went through, I don't think I actually got past it. I think I told myself I was past it so I didn't have to deal with it. You know what I mean? A lot of the time when you have problems or you have things going on in your life, you have to progress through it. And being as young as I was, I couldn't. I was a child, you know what I mean? So because I was a child, there was no way for me to actually be strong and push through and all that stuff. So a lot of the time I spent my time smiling when I didn't want to smile, acting like there was nothing wrong when I was probably having the worst day of my life. I read a lot. I read a lot of books. I sang. A lot of the time it was to myself because not very many people around me were thoughtful in how they approached the things that I did. I was raised by two separate, I don't know how to word that, it's my father's side and my mother's side. And then my mother remarried. So a lot of my childhood was me trying to figure out who I was as a person and how I could fit into both sides, how I could be accepted by both sides. I got a video that I'm editing now. I still haven't got done editing. That's how long that video is. That talks about a lot of how I felt. But once that's done, I can post that video. Just as a child, though, you know what I mean? Not being able to see where I fit. I see my daughter now. She's trying to figure out, where she fits. And, I tell her on a regular basis now, you don't have to fit in order for you to be important. You don't have to fit in to be important. When you strike up conversations or when you make connections with people, it could be anybody. Black, white, Asian, Indian, purple, blue, orange. Just the fact that those people have been sent into your life for you to connect with is what's important. So, not necessarily feeling like you need to be a friend to them based on their preference, their race, any of that. I mean, you can connect with somebody and y'all could be the best of friends. So, fitting in is not as important as they make it seem. Being a child, I wish I had known that because, it's not as easy when you feel like you already don't fit in at home and then you go to school and you feel like you don't fit in. I liked so many things. I wasn't the stereotypical black girl. I liked reading books. I listened to pop music and rock music. And in a black home, that was not normal. My mom was not okay with me listening to rock music. But it helped me deal with my feelings. And in some cases, it helped me figure out what they were. I just didn't know how to express them. So, you know, fitting in never really worked for me. I never really had like true, authentic friends who were just like my besties. You know what I mean? I had one girl that I talked to all the time, and I didn't realize how much of a best friend she was until after I left. You know what I mean? And I communicate with her now, but we don't see each other as often as we did before. But, you know, sometimes chasing after that validation from other people could lead to you not noticing those people who are important. Now I have a best friend, big sister relationship with my sister Tasha. And like, I love the mess out of her. Like, and I understand, you know what I mean, how to be a sister and a friend now. I didn't know how to do that before because I wanted to fit in with all types. You know what I mean? I have other sisters as well. So wanting to fit in led to me trying to jump on the bandwagon when they were talking, and then I jump off the bandwagon when they said something I didn't like, and then I jump on the bandwagon with, you know, my other sister, and then I jump off the bandwagon because then I wouldn't like what was being said. And then I just realized, you know, I can have my own opinion. I can think how I want. I can decide. You know what I mean? No judgment. And I don't have to be around judgmental people, family or not. You know what I mean? So when it comes to feeling like you need to fit in, you need to figure out who you are, figure out who you would like to be connected to, because every relationship is going to have some sort of impact on who you are and what you do and how far you go. You should be able to appreciate the time you spend with people. You should be able to be happy. You should not have to put on a fake smile. And even then, if you put on a fake smile, it's usually your real friends that's going to be like, girl, what's going on? Because I know that ain't real. What's going on? You've been sitting around here with this little fake smile on your face. That's how you know you got somebody who really care about you. You keep bettering yourself. Better yourself. Don't go and feel like you need to change somebody else in order for you to feel good. You need to better yourself so that when the time comes and God puts people in your life, you will know that they're in your life for a reason. I've come across a lot of people who know how to play the role. You know what I mean? It's all about playing the role. It's all about looking like I have it together. Looking like I'm happy. Looking like, you know, we're friends. And I never wanted those type of relationships. I was always quick to cut off those type of relationships. I don't want none of the fake stuff. None of it. And I don't stay connected to people who stay in toxic situations but want me to carry the burdens for them. You know what I mean? It's that person who comes and wants to tell you everything that's going on, knowing that you already feel some type of way about it. And then when you try to give advice, they say, I see. That's the reason why I don't talk to you. So stop talking to me. Stop talking to me. It's for the best. For me, it's for the best. Now, there are some cases where toxic situations turn into some great friendships. Meaning, a person is in a toxic situation and they come to you and they confide in you because they really would like to, you know what I mean, have somebody to vent to and understand what they're going through. and they actually take your advice. You know what I mean? They take your advice. They give you advice. That's a consensual friendship. That's a real friendship. Like, regardless of how you feel about the truth that's being spoken, you know what I mean? The fact that you're able to talk to that person and that person understands where you coming from, and they can talk to you and you understand where they coming from, and there are no hard feelings. There is not a harsh word that will make them stop talking to you. That's a bomb ass friendship. Damn near sisterhood. Like, that's bomb. That's what's up. That's what you need. That's what you want in your life. And that's how I feel with my sister. That's exactly how I feel with my sister. Me and her had these downright hard conversations. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the stuff that's being said hurt like hell. Hurt, but it's the truth. And those are the type of friendships and connections and relationships that you want to have. But if you continue to allow yourself to be mediocre rather than making yourself better, you're going to end up in mediocre relationships. And then friendships is going to be weak. Like, every other week, you're going to hear somebody saying something about you. Why? Because that one girl who keep claiming to be cool with you is the same girl that's letting everybody know what's going on in your house. I ain't got to worry about none of that. So, you know, I just want to go on about, like, friendships and relationships and being real with one another, because there's always going to be somebody who needs you. And they're not going to always want to hear the truth, but you always have to be the person that gives the truth regardless. There is a way to tell somebody the truth without doing too much, without being too harsh, without intentionally hurting them. It's possible. Ain't that right, sister? You done told me some truth. You done told me some truths that I didn't want to hear. And I think I done told you something that you didn't want to hear. But at the end of the day, it never affected who we were as sisters. And I can appreciate that. Because not having genuine friends, not having people who you can vent to and not hearing your business in the streets soon after is really important, especially when you're going through stuff and you've struggled by yourself for a long time. I'm going to ramble a little bit about struggling in silence, or suffering in silence, or resenting in silence, being unhappy in silence. That is like the hardest thing. Those feelings are the hardest things to overcome. And doing that alone seems damn near impossible. That struggle, like, to cope by yourself. It's not going to always be easy to talk it out. And you're not going to always want to talk it out. But in any situation where you know that somebody is going through something and you have a connection to them, give them time. Allow them to come to you. Put yourself in a position where even if they're being hard, even if they don't want the answers, even if they don't want to hear what's being said at the moment, when they come to the breaking point, when they become vulnerable, they will need you. And that's in any situation. That's in any situation. We go through things where we suffer, we hurt, we're in pain, we struggle. But it's so that we know the signs when somebody else goes through it. Coworker, somebody that goes to church, relative, whoever. And there's going to be a point where somebody is going to come and they're going to need your help. And they ain't never want to hear your mouth before. But everybody has a breaking point. Everybody gets tired. And some people are tired, exhausted. But just being able to be there for them, you know what I mean? No judgment. Just genuinely being there. Giving them peace of mind that they need. And it could just be to sit quietly. It could be to come in and buy a bunch of junk and laugh and talk about something that y'all watching on TV. Never speaking of what's going on. It's not always a situation where, like with some people, they make it seem like it's just about, oh, well, every time she called me, it's about this. Every time he called me, it's about that. Every time I want to go over there, she only want to do this. Sometimes people just need your presence. And I realize that. But you have to know when you're giving more of yourself than you need to. I've dealt with depression for a lot of years. Depression is not something that just comes and goes lightly. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, I'm depressed today, I'm not depressed tomorrow. No, like, you're going to have to deal with yourself for a couple days. And it's not always easy when you're a mom or a wife or a sister or a cousin who's involved. You know what I mean? But for those who aren't always involved with other people, we have to start branching out and making connections. Because suffering alone is the worst. It's the absolute worst. Suffering alone, not having somebody that you can text, call, play a game with, watch the same show with, video with, whatever. And, you know, I've been dealing with mine for the past couple weeks. And the days are feeling longer. But I know that God is with me. I know He is. And I won't tell myself that it's not okay to have a bad day, a bad week, a bad month. I've been there. That doesn't change the fact that I still wake up every morning. You know what I mean? My kids still wake up every morning. My kids are healthy. Tired? Me? Yes. But I'm here. I'm here. I didn't die. Physically, I did not die. I did not take my own life. I have been there, tried multiple times. There's a reason why I'm here. Depression is not always easy, but you can get through it. And if you're around someone who is the cause of your depression, find ways to stay away from that person. because that's not easy. That's not. And if that person just continues to make it hard for you, that's worse. Find situations that benefit you. Make an effort to have an outlet. This one is mine. Find peace in the chaos. Allow God to lead you away from things that you're ready to walk away from. Once He gets you out of it, never go back. That's it. That's all, guys. Keep your head up. Make it through the week. The world is cold, but you don't have to be.